Hi, I'm Crystal, the parenting coach. Parenting is a thing that some of us just expected to know how to do. It's not like other areas of your life where you go to school and get taught, get on-the-job training, or have mentors to help you. But now you can get that help here. I believe that your relationship with your children is one of the most important aspects of your life and the best way that you can make a positive impact on the world and on the future. I've made parental relationships my life study, and I use life coaching tools, emotional wellness tools, and connection-based parenting to build amazing relationships between parents and their children. If you want an even better relationship with your child, this podcast will help you. Take my parenting quiz at the link in the show notes. Once we know what your parenting style is, we will send some tips tailored to you and a roadmap to help you get the most out of my podcast. Welcome to a special episode of today's podcast, how I'm following my intuition and making some changes. This feels very intuitive and very soulful. I'm excited to share what I have to share with you this evening. I mean, it's probably not evening when you're listening to this, but what's really cool about this is that I have been thinking about this for a little while, stewing on this for a little while, really wanted to share some changes that are happening with me on the podcast. And as I share it, I am sitting on the 26th floor in Malaysia, Chinese New Year, which it will no longer be Chinese New Year by the time this airs in a couple of weeks, but Chinese New Year's Eve. And it just feels very aligned with what I have about to share with you. And also you might hear some fireworks, because there is fireworks all over the city happening, just like little bits. We were up at the very roof on the 36th floor and we were just watching them all over the city. It was a really cool experience. So I've been reading a little bit about Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year, as we're going to spend the day tomorrow, the Chinese New Year, with our friends. And this year is the Wood Dragon. So Lunar New Year starts tomorrow, which is February 10th. When you're listening to this, I think it's not February 10th. I think it's going to be February 26th that this comes out. And it marks the beginning of spring for East Asian cultures. So the article that my friend sent me is called Yana, YANA.co, and it talks about the Wood Dragon 2024. The biggest theme, I'm quoting this, the biggest theme for the year of the Yang Wood Dragon is transformation. This is the year to take action, embark on new endeavors, or undertake substantial personal growth. They also have a little section reflecting from the Yin Water Rabbit year and how it was filled with more intuition and inner little revelations and new opportunities and expressing oneself a little bit in a deeper way. This year, it says, let's explore what the dragon represents in Chinese astrology. It is the only sign in the Chinese zodiac that is supernatural. It embodies a mystical fusion of fish, bird, tiger, horse, and snake. The dragon's power transcends our imagination, operating on a grand scale. Years ruled by the dragon tend to carry profound significance. So I really loved that they talked about this, because what I'm about to share with you is some changes and shifts that are happening in my life and business, and which feel significant to me. And as I was reading about this, my friend was sharing, like, do you know anything about the Wood Dragon? And I was like, no, I don't. And so she's like, here, read some articles about it. And she explained a little bit to me, and I love this idea. And it says, this raw energy boost, especially during a dragon year, may feel overwhelming. Embrace the newness, ride the tide, remember to rest and to plan and guide the energy intentionally. Harness the energy of wood to inspire endeavors such as studying something new, creating art, starting a business, or reinventing yourself. It also says the native element of the dragon is earth, and earth wood controls earth. This elemental relationship stirs emotions, prompting a reassessment of old thoughts, habits, and rituals. Embrace change, view it as an opportunity to reset and invite freshness into your life. I didn't know any of this up until a few days ago. I am new to the Chinese New Year and its celebrations, and I'm so excited to dig more into it. But I just felt like, wow, this is so aligned with exactly what I feel like is happening inside of myself. How cool is it that I get to record this podcast episode on the Chinese Lunar New Year when it's talking about the Wood Dragon and these changes and these transformations that are going to be happening over the course of this next year, which is exactly what I was going to share with you on the podcast tonight. So there we go. So intuition and making some changes. What I want to talk about is how intuition has changed my life. And then I will talk about the shifts that I will be doing going forward because of intuition, because of listening to my intuition more. If you have followed any of what I've been doing recently, I started this program called The Creation Room. It has been expansive and amazing. We're only a few weeks into it, and it's already been awesome. If that is something that interests you, it is still open and you are welcome to join. We also are going to be doing a workshop on intuition on the 29th. So make sure you come and check that out. That also felt very cool that it was going to be like on the leap year day. That's like this extra day that we don't always have. And it just feels really cool to be able to do that special workshop on that day. So you can check that out in the show notes. So things that have happened in my life that have shifted my life in the biggest ways have all happened intuitively. I've talked about intuition on the podcast before, but intuition doesn't speak to our mind. It's not this logical thing that we just understand where we write down pros and cons and figure it out and solve for it. Intuition comes to our body. It comes to more of our gut instinct, more of our soul. Even if you don't feel it in your gut because not everybody feels it in that way. It does come to your body somehow. It all kind of feels magical when you start leaning into your intuition, especially when you're able to look back and review the things that have happened intuitively. I've been doing this a lot lately, writing down like, what are all of the things I've been able to create through tuning into my intuition more? And they have been substantial. And looking back on that, I've realized intuition has really entirely blown my life into this huge, expansive life that I would have never have imagined. And I dreamed of this before. I wanted this before, but logically, it didn't really seem like it was going to work out, but it worked out because of intuition. One of the biggest things that I can remember feeling that really strong gut instinct of like, yep, this is for me, but then immediately feeling the fear that comes afterwards is when I decided to sign up for the life coach school. So you may or may not already know this story, but back in 2019, we had just finished moving back home from Quebec. My husband had been going to school there doing his MBA. We had a lot of student debt. He didn't have a permanent position anywhere yet. He was still looking for things. This is before he found the internship that he was able to get in a town close by. And we were living in my parents' basement. No, my in-laws' basement. And it was very small. It is not a very big house. One of my kids was sleeping on a couch. We had two kids sleeping on the floor in our bedroom. All of us were like sharing shelves because there wasn't even like closet space for us. It was very squishy, quite uncomfortable, not the best time to choose to invest in some new program. But at the time, I had really started to dig into learning and shifting and growing. And I was like, I really want something more. And I knew I wanted something more. I knew that Navy, my youngest, was my last baby, and I wanted to do something that was for myself. And so I had always known that I wanted to go into mental health, well, always being for a long time since I was younger, known that I wanted to go into mental health some way. So as I was looking into programs that would teach me how to become a therapist or a psychologist or a counselor of some sort, I stumbled upon the life coach school. And it really was stumbled upon. I mean, like I was out for the evening with some girlfriends, and one of my friends was like, oh, I promised this lady that I would go to this conference thing that she's having. Can you guys come with me just for the last little bit? We were like 25 minutes late. We roll in, we like go squish at the back, we listen, and I'm like captivated by what she's talking about. I'm like, this is so fascinating. Like, this sounds really similar to counseling. This sounds like what I want to do. I didn't even know what a life coach was. Up until that point, I thought life coach was somebody who like calls you and helps you like apply for jobs and apply for school and like get out of bed on time and like set your alarm, like literally helps you with your life, like just day-to-day skills in your life. I didn't know that life coaching was so similar to counseling and therapy, in that it helped you uncover your mental and emotional health and helped you transform and make these big shifts and changes. And anyway, so at the time, didn't know much about it, looked into it. And within like a week, I had signed up for the life coach school instead of master's programs because that's what I had been looking into. And I did have some money set aside, some extra student loan money that we had not spent yet from my husband's graduate school that I was like, okay, well, I have this much. And it was about the same amount that it was going to cost me for my 2 years master's to take this program from the life coach school, which seemed really illogical at the time. Like there was really no logic to it. It didn't make any sense. If I had any, as far as common sense goes, like if I had looked at like, this is when you should do it. And like, you should save up money first and you should pay this off and you should wait till you're not like living in your in-laws basement, those kinds of things. It really didn't make sense at all, but it felt so good and it felt so right. And it also felt so terrible at the same time because it felt so scary. And honestly, I don't know if I would have done it if my husband hadn't been on board, because he called and just said, like, I was talking to him over lunch And he just said, I feel like this is so you. Like, this just feels like something that you're going to be so naturally good at. Like, you already do this. And I just really think you should go for it. And I'm not sure if I would have been able to do it because at the time I was super scared and I wasn't used to doing really scary things. I am now. I do really scary things all the time. Even putting out this podcast episode felt scary, but I am a lot more used to scary things. At the time, I wasn't. And so I was glad that he was supportive of that decision and that he really pushed me into doing that. And our life has really blossomed since that moment. He is at home with me now, which I always wanted. We both work from home. We get to travel. We're traveling the world right now. As I speak, we're going to spend Chinese New Year tomorrow in Singapore. Our life is completely different. It would have never been this way if it weren't for following that intuitive hit that happened. And it was such a specific one too. Like I remember watching the video on the website where she was explaining the certification and I just felt a yes. I didn't know the life coach school. I didn't know the lady that ran it, Brooke Castillo. I had never listened to her podcast before. Like I knew so little about what life coaching even entailed, but it felt like a yes, even without no prior knowledge. Like without having any prior knowledge, I still was able to feel that yes. And that's what intuition feels like for me. I don't need more knowledge. I don't need more opinions. I don't need more outside sources or ideas. I can tune into the answer that's inside of me. Another thing is kind of like previous to this is how I decided to get into mental health in the first place. I was in grade 10 and I was in a psychology class. And I remember just sitting there and opening up the textbook and feeling intuitively like, this is meant for me. This is me. It felt like home. It felt comfortable. It felt peaceful. Again, just that intuition, just speaking to me. Another time is when my husband decided to go back to school and do his MBA. When he came home and said, like, I really want to shift careers. I really want to do something different. I don't love what I'm doing. I was scared. He was scared. We were both really nervous about it. But as he was applying for colleges, I started getting more excited about it. And he had just kind of decided where he was going to apply. We didn't really know. And the more he looked at it, the more he was like, I don't even want to look into any other colleges. I know exactly where I want to go. And I was like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Like it was Quebec, which is like the other side of our country, very far away. We'd never been there before. But he was like, I've heard about this school. I've talked to my professors about it. They have a really good university. They have a really great program. I just feel so good about it. And as he said those words, I felt the truth of them. And even though my brain logically was spinning out and freaking out, and I did a lot of verbal freaking out towards him, like, no, we need to apply to a lot of schools. We need to like put it out there. Like we can't just put all our eggs in one basket, all of these things. Intuitively, I felt like it was a yes. I knew it was going to work out the moment that he said it. And it did. Within like maybe 7 days, he had an acceptance, super, super early acceptance. We applied very early. He hadn't even, I don't even know if he'd finished his application properly. They sent us an email being like, we need this one more thing, but also you're accepted. And we were like, wait, what? Like it was so out of the blue. And we met the most amazing people over there. We had the most amazing experience. We loved our time over there, like deeply in my soul, loved those 2 years that we spent there. And I would not have traded it for anything. And it was exactly where we needed to be for our whole family, for our children, for me, for him, for everybody, because it was such an intuitive decision. Our intuition, both of ours, guided us to that space. Every coach and every program that I have taken since the life coach school has been intuitive. Once I finished at the life coach school, I found Jody Moore. She is a faith-based life coach, and I took an advanced certification in faith-based coaching tools. There was hundreds of people trying to apply to this program, and you literally had to just like press a button like the second that she opened it. And I did not think I was going to get in, but I felt so strongly like this is right. This is for me. I need to apply for this. And I did. And I was one of like 8 people, maybe 10 people that got in out of the hundreds that were applying. It sold out in like the 30 seconds or whatever that it was open. And it again was exactly what I needed at the time that I needed. I was going through some pretty significant stuff during that program. And it was exactly where I needed to be and what I needed to be doing and the people that I needed to connect with. And the same thing happened again the next year when I found Brene Brown's Dare to Lead program and I learned more about shame. And that really started to pivot my coaching. I've also I found an intuitive business coach that really started shifting my coaching. I started learning more about feminine energy. Like all of that happened so intuitively and got me to the space where I am right now. And I am such a proponent of intuition. I don't believe that we need more knowledge. I don't believe that we need more opinions, more advice, more outside sources. I believe that we need to in-source more. I believe that we need to tune into the wisdom that we have inside of us and trust ourselves more and trust that source more and tap into what is right for me and how can I feel into my intuition more and how can I live my intuition more. The most amazing things have been happening in the creation room as we've been doing this. And like I said, it's literally only been a few weeks that we've even had this open. But it is given people permission to really live life in the way that they want to. Like what is possible and what do they want? Even if it's different than the norm, right? One lady in there is like, I really don't want to have a big coaching practice. There's quite a few coaches in there. She said, I don't really want to have a big coaching practice. I kind of want to coach just like one or two people. And I really want to work on quilting. Like that's what I love doing. And I love that for her. I love that she's able to find something that she loves and create a life that she really loves, not based on what she feels like other people think she should be doing. And that's what I want for all of us. I want for all of us, for us to have the permission to create any life that we think is possible, like literally anything, to believe that it's possible to create whatever life we want and not to feel like somebody else has to give us permission to do that. For it not to look like somebody else's coaching practice, not to look like somebody else's life, but just look like what we want and what ours is. Some things that I've noticed as I've started to live an intuitive life is that it's made life harder in some ways and easier in others. It has made life harder in the good kind of hard, the expansive kind of hard, the kind of hard where I wake up and I do something really scary and I feel nervous about it. And I feel that like kind of worry, fear at the top of the roller coaster before I'm about to go down. I feel that a lot. I feel that in this episode as I am sharing these shifts that are happening in my business and in my life. And as I share them with you, I feel that scariness. I feel that fear, but I also know that this is exactly the episode that was needed to be shared at the time that was needed to be shared. I had something completely different on the roster. I planned on talking about a completely different topic. And I woke up this morning and I knew that this is what I needed to share. So there you go. That's intuition. Makes you do scary things sometimes. But it's the expansive kind of hard where you feel so good afterwards. It's like going to the gym and then afterwards you're like, oh, it actually feels like good, even though it's like a sore kind of good. That's what intuition feels like. I also have noticed that it has increased my capacity to accept and love others because I've had to accept and love myself on a deep level. I've had to tune more into who am I? What do I think? What do I believe? What do I feel? What am I like? What am I not like? Who do I want to be? To unbelieve the beliefs of I'm too much or I'm not enough, which are two sides of the same coin. To unbelieve things like girls can't do this, or this isn't possible for me, or you're not meant for this, or this life is too big for you, or your dreams are impossible, or whatever all of those beliefs are that we hold on to that people gave to us and we unconsciously, unknowingly collected them and believed them. I've done a lot of uncollecting those, a lot of minimalism in my mind where I'm giving away back a lot of those beliefs to people that I don't want to keep anymore, that I didn't really want in the first place. And I didn't really agree or choose to accept. They just came onto me. And the more that I've been able to accept who I truly believe that I am and feel more firm in what I believe to be true and expansive in who I am and my own inner wisdom, that deep level of acceptance has helped me to accept and love others on a deeper level. And in fact, as I was writing down like intuition and helping people uncover their intuition, the thought that came to me was, this is your only goal for your kids too. Like your role for your children isn't to like teach them and guide them and mold them and shape them and change them and behavior modification them. It is to help them uncover their intuition, to help them learn how to listen to it and to follow it. And that will shift and change as they get older. But even my 10-year-old is like, oh, I know what my intuition feels like. I don't always like to listen to it, but I know. And talks to me about it. And we have great conversations about it. Like that is my goal. My goal is to be a leader, to guide them not to change them, not to coerce them, not to change their behavior, but to help them listen to the intuition that's already inside of them. A couple of the things that I've noticed as I've started to live an intuitive life more deeply is that I slow down so much more and I do life in a very different way. You know, that thing people call a rat race where it's like hustle and like work and busy and like grow, scale, bigness, whatever. I feel like I'm completely not even like, I'm not aligned with that at all. Like I'm not even there. Um, we travel, my husband's home with me. I have everything I kind of always dreamed of being able to have and being able to do. Um, and it makes me wonder, like, what else is possible? Like, if I don't have to do this, like, rat race and busyness, and we can live life in this different way, whatever way we want, and it can be simple and it can be restful and easeful, and we can slow everything down. What else do I want? What else is possible? One of my favorite quotes that I got from Amber Smith is, wouldn't it be fun if, and I play this game with myself all the time now. Wouldn't it be fun if I created this in my business? Wouldn't it be fun if we went and did this as a family? Wouldn't it be fun if this experience happened to us? To just ideate, like, what else do we want to create in life? Because intuition will get us there. I've also noticed that my relationship with my family, my extended family, for sure, and also with my children has really shifted, has really changed. How I think about them, how I feel about them, how I respond to them, how they respond to me has changed. Even more so than I felt like it already had, it just on a deeper level. And I also feel like my relationship with and my relationship with money and my capacity for wealth has changed because I believe different things about it, because I've spent so much time again noticing what subconscious beliefs have been passed down to me, have been given to me without my real knowledge or consent. And when I was like, wait, I don't want this belief. Like, where did this even come from? Why am I holding this still? That I get to choose to put it down. And I get to believe that something new and different is possible for me. And that I can unbelief some old beliefs that I have been noticing. And I've been doing a lot of this work lately. Intuition is key. It is the key. You don't need more knowledge, more answers, more opinions, more advice. More advice. You being the most you that you can be is the answer. It's the whole answer. That is how you create anything that you want to create. Acceptance comes first, then intuition, listening to our intuition, then creation. And as we accept ourselves in a deeper level, as we intuit on a deeper level, we will be able to naturally create whatever kind of life we want in whatever kind of way that we want. And our subconscious always wants goodness. When we can release all of these masks, all of these false beliefs that we have, it wants goodness, it wants humor, it wants fun, it wants expansion, it wants compassion, it wants world peace, it wants all of those good things. And those good things will come to us as we put goodness out into the world and as we believe good things about people, starting with ourselves. So I am going to be taking a pivot, a change in my business. I have felt it coming for a little bit of time. I've known that there was some shift coming. I didn't really know what it was going to be. I have been coaching since 2019 when I started my certification in August 2019 at the Life Coach School, and I finished my certification in March of 2020. I started with motherhood coaching and pretty quickly grew into business and parenting coaching, and then really felt like parenting coaching was my jam. And that's what I landed on. And that's what I've been doing like solid since 2021. So for 3 years, I have dedicated all of my brain power, all of my practice, all of my life experience. I've been doing this with my children, with myself, and I have loved it so much. I've created dozens and dozens of podcasts. I don't even know what number we're on. We're like, got to be close to 150 now. I have loved hearing people tell me how even just listening to the podcast has changed their relationship with their kids, has changed their life. I've loved working with hundreds of you. I have loved working with couples, with dads, with moms, with everybody. It has been such a good experience. And I have just really loved being able to spread more connection and more compassion in parenting. But I am pivoting. I am pivoting to intuitive life and business coaching. I feel called to help people in the way that my intuitive coach did help me years ago. She is no longer doing it. And I often send her messages just telling her how grateful I am for her for her completely changing the course of my life. Oh, tear up in my podcast episode so much, you guys. Because she really did, because it really shifted life for me, and her being her and her being in her intuitive self and helping me tune into what that was for me changed everything for me. And she probably doesn't even know how deeply it impacted or affected me and generations, right? Affected my kids, affected our path. And that is the work that I feel called to do with people. Now, this doesn't mean that parenting coaching is completely going away, because I think it's really interwoven into everything that I talk about and everything that I do. I talk about loads of things on the podcast. If you've been listening to for ages, like I talk about all the things on the podcast. So I don't know what the future of the podcast will be, but for now, we're just going to keep rolling with it and keep just bringing on cool guests and speaking about whatever I intuitively feel like speaking about. And we'll see where that lands us. But for now, in my personal coaching practice, I will be pivoting. So I plan on running Parent School only one more time. As I am running it, I will be recording it so that I can create a course that people can get access to. And that within that course, even after I'm done with teaching it live, which I think there's such an amazing energy to come live. So I hope you join us live. But even after that, that there will be access to people to get the kind of support that they want. And I may run some sort of live or interactive component of it somehow. I don't really know how that's going to work. But for now, I only plan on running Parent School one more time. And that will be kind of my last hurrah with that. I will still be selling the courses that I sell, the Your Superpower Brain. That's an emotional intelligence course for teens and tweens and young adults. I will also still have faith-based parenting up on my website, which is one of my very favorite courses that I've ever created. So if faith and unshaming your faith is something you're interested in, that course is exactly what you're looking for. And then Parent School will be up there as well. So like I said, we will run it live, and then it will go and be a course like the other ones as well. And who knows, maybe there'll be some interaction in the future, but for now, I'm just plan on having it up there as a course that people can do on their own as well. So all that being said, I am pivoting to intuitive life and business coaching, which feels scary to say out loud and to really do. Like I have butterflies in my stomach as I'm explaining this, even though it feels right. It feels scary and right at the same time, which feels so strange inside my body, but feels right as well. That I will be taking on one-on-one coaching clients for life and business coaching. You don't have to have a business. You can be thinking about having a business. You cannot have a business at all and just want to learn how to accept yourself at a deeper level, intuit at a deeper level. If all of this feels like something you're interested in, definitely let me know. Hopefully I'll have some links in the show notes for you to get on the Parent School waitlist for when that opens. I will be running it in either March or April, or to coach with me. I will have 10 spots open for intuitive life and business coaching, and we will work together for 6 months. We will meet for 3 weeks every month. And then we will have a week where we work on integration of everything that we're learning. And that program is going to be $10,000. So if you are interested in kind of a really deep dive, a really deep intuitive dive into life and intuitive business coaching, this program will be for you. And you'll know if it is. You'll hear me say this and everything inside you will be like, yep, this is for me, or nope, that's not. So just listen to that yourself. You'll know. I will also be still running the creation room. That is going to be open right now. I have done some really fun breath work and some really fun hypnotherapy in the past, and I'm sure I'm going to be offering some of that. Just kind of one-off sessions for people as well. I'll have that on my website up shortly. And if intuition is something you'd like to learn more in a group setting with me, you can either join the creation room or you can come join the workshop that we're having on the 29th. It is going to be at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It will actually be the first for me when I'm doing that, March 1st, but come join us on February 29th. The recording will be available for everybody who registers. And if you're just interested in like, what is she even talking about? And what is this intuition thing? That is for you. Or if you are interested in joining the creation room and you want to kind of get a glimpse of what the energy is like, that is also for you. or if you are interested in a one-on-one intuitive life and business coaching with me, this will be a great little beginning, a great little insight for you. And going forward, I still plan on doing retreats and public speaking engagements and all the things, but I will be pulling back on doing so many public workshops and group things out there. And I'll be pivoting more onto more of my focus to the intuitive life and business coaching. So that was a lot. I want to leave you with one last thing. If you're like, but I'm here for the parenting, I really want the parenting support. I just want to tell you that I have been honing my skill of parenting coaching and parenting support so much. And I have given so much goodness on this podcast that really, if you take it and listen to it and run with it, it will do everything that you want it to do. Everybody talks to me about emotional regulation. Like, how do I get my kids to stop freaking out? How do I co-regulate with them? How do I teach them self-regulation? I have like the most amazing podcast episodes on that. So if you go to my page, coachcrystal.ca/blog, and if you scroll down about halfway, there's a search bar and you can type in like a word like emotion or emotional regulation, and it will pop up all of the episodes where I speak about that. And there is a lot. I love to talk about things like kids with neurodiversities and how we navigate that and how we help support them and love them and help them feel like anything is possible for them and then kind of break out of the societal norms that we have around neurodiversity. So just type in neurodiversity and all of those will pop up. I love talking about parenting with connection and not coercion. I love talking about screens and tech and unshaming things. And I love talking about how to prevent pornography in our children and how we can help our kids learn about sex in healthy, sex positive ways. So any of those things, type them in the search in halfway down the page, coachcrystal.ca/blog. That is my podcast page. And all of those episodes will come up. I will be creating a roadmap that will guide you through these things soon so that I'm not just like leaving you high and dry in parenting. You're like, no, but I want this stuff. This stuff will still be available. So I will have a roadmap and that will just tell you specifically, like if emotional regulation is what you're looking for, do this. If you're working on cycle breaking, do this. If you're working on like what's triggering me and why and how do I process through that, do this. There is audio meditations. There is like all the things that you need to really be super successful in your parenting. So I am not leaving you high and dry. It will all be there. And in fact, it will be even more cohesive because I'm going to create this amazing roadmap. I have no idea how long it's going to take. So I do not know when it will come out, but it will guide you through the most common struggles that I see in modern parents and what they're facing. And people have literally changed their relationship with their kids on their own just by listening to the podcast. So how amazing is that for one? How amazing it is that we have hours and hours and hours of content, like basically a free digital course that you get for free that you can just take on your own. You can check in the show notes for all of that. It's like going to be the most comprehensive free resource ever when this podcast roadmap comes out. And also I need to come up with a cooler name than podcast roadmap because that sounds boring, and you can share it with any parent that you know. It will be amazing. And also I will still speak to schools. I'll be speaking to teachers' councils. I'll be doing public speaking all over the place. Parenting is still something that I feel very strong about helping people with. So I'm not just going to be not speaking about it anymore. I will definitely still be out there speaking, hopefully doing even more public speaking engagements and talking about this and getting this message out there. But as far as my one-on-one interactive, working with me live piece, that will be more geared towards intuitive life and business coaching. Okay. Again, one last reminder, one last time to do parent school with me. One last hurrah. If you have been on the fence, if you've been thinking about it, if you've been saving up for it, if you're like, yeah, one day I'm going to do that, and you're listening to this and you're feeling that like gut instinct, that intuition piece, come join us. Come be part of it. Be part of the live experience because it really is different live. You get to ask questions. You get to get coached. It's interactive. It's going to be awesome. This is for both men and women and for couples, singles, whoever. And the information for parent school will be on the link and you can sign up for the wait list so that you can be notified as soon as we choose to put it out there and go live, which will probably be pretty soon. I just have to figure out my schedule, what countries I'm in and what time zones I'm in and all of those things. So I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating this like Chinese New Year change with me. It feels very like one of life's little synchronicities that I'm here in this country celebrating the Lunar New Year, that it's the wood dragon, that it's all about change and transformation and creation, and that I am really making a big step in my own transformative journey, which again doesn't seem very logical because people are like, pick an area of expertise and get really good at that and talk about that forever and ever and ever. But that is not me. If you know anything about me, I change my outfits, I change my hair, I change my furniture, I change all the things. Change is like my favorite thing. So I don't know why I ever thought that I would just pick one thing and go for it. And here I am stuck with the name, The Parenting Coach Podcast, and my Instagram handle, The Parenting Coach, not even talking about parenting. Probably I'll have a new Instagram page as well. I will keep The Parenting Coach for sure, because I just resonate with that one so deeply, but I will probably start a intuitive Instagram page as well. Maybe I'll even have it up by the time we have this podcast aired. So there is my message for you, my shift for you, my intuitive story for you. I hope you got something out of it. And I hope that you can tune more into yourself and into your intuition and what your intuition is telling you as well, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it follows zero logic, to just do it anyways. And that is my goal for this year for myself, is to not do the logical thing, but do the intuitive thing and see where life takes me, because so far it has taken me to some wild and glorious places that I would have never been able to get to on my own if I logicked my way here. So I get to be here in this beautiful place, doing such a beautiful thing. And I am excited. I am like lit up with being able to help you in uncovering your intuition, in tapping into your intuition, and bringing into your business. I have seen the changes that it makes, like working less and having more income and changing relationships with your family and friends and going on amazing trips and calling in more experiences that are so cool. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in my intuitive business coach and the people that worked with her. I've seen it in people that I've already started helping doing this work with. And I know that it's possible for you too. It probably will mean a few changes for me. I have been working a lot less the last couple of years, and I'm feeling kind of lit up and kind of excited to call in a little bit more. So I might be adding some more work hours as I make these changes, but still bringing this rest piece and this nervous system regulation piece and this meditation piece alongside me, so that I don't just jump right back into the spin wheel, rat race, hustle, that I'm able to just integrate both, and integrate work and rest and play and fun and ease and celebration and transformation and all of that all rolled up into one. So have a lovely week. Hopefully we will see you at the intuitive webinar, and you can still come here for all of your favorite parenting content until I decide what else I'm going to talk about, what else I'm going to talk about next. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to help spread this work to the world, share this episode on social media and tag me. Send it to a friend or leave a quick rating and review below so more people can find me. If you'd like more guidance on your own parenting journey, reach out.